Welcome everybody to another episode of the ArenaLabs GW2 PvP podcast. I am your host Sneakers, joined by my fellow co-host Crayola.
Hello, and today we are joined by Angeels.
Mr. PMA himself.
That's true. I am here to spread the word of positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
Which sounds a little like a cult, but no, it's the best motivator for PvP.
it is the most needed thing in PvP. I think it's
absolutely.
Yeah, too much toxicity, and it's nice to sort of have a bit of fresh air.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, welcome on the show anyway, Angels.
Thank you.
So, for those who may have been living under a rock and are unaware of your presence in the community, tell us a little bit about yourself. What class do you play?
So I'm an engineer main, or as some would refer to in the current meta as a holosmith abuser, or a nades abuser. But I'm a streamer. I streamed for a couple of years now, and also created godsofpvp.net, a premier resource for Guild Wars 2 PvP guides and builds.
It is actually a fantastic website. As someone who does,
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah, as someone who sort of does penetration testing and hacking and things like that, it's just and a little bit of web design and stuff like that. But it's a really nice layout, and that appeals to me. I really like a nice clean layout on the website.
I'm glad you guys like it. It means that actually means a lot. It does.
Also, the content on it is amazing, particularly the guides as well. You've got simple things like the kiting spots, no port spots, disengage, and the simple things of that it goes a long way.
Absolutely.
You did mention you're planning on putting like video guides on there, right?
Oh yeah. So I currently have one particularly big video in the works, which is I guess the beginner's guide to PvP. You know, I feel like a lot of the videos out there, not to trash talk or anything, but they don't quite hit the mark, you know. And I've wanted to do something like this for a long time, something that actually educates, because I feel I can do that pretty well.
Perfect.
So.
And you got a portal for that as well, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a great way. It gets a lot of outreach, an awful lot of outreach.
But I did have a question about it.
Sure.
Like sometimes I did I did view both Meta Battle and Gods of PvP. But I viewed Meta Battle more when I was looking for some like new builds, off builds that weren't meta, like just some stuff that I didn't even know of.
Yeah, I mean, this is not really the point. That's not really the point of Gods of PvP, right? Gods of PvP is about showing the meta. You know, if you want to play the meta, if you want to improve in the current state of the game, you want to be playing the meta, right? Realistically. And I feel like my site gives the best opportunity for rapid progression. That was kind of my approach to things. I want people to be able to rapidly improve. And I don't feel really other sites like Meta Battle necessarily offer that option.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there. It's a real.
I feel like if you give players too much choice, then specifically if they're new, if someone's learning, you don't give them a lot of choice, because otherwise they're going to get confused. And I don't mean that as in people are stupid. I mean that in the sense that it's not easy for people to engage in stuff that they don't necessarily understand, if that makes sense.
Of course.
So I think showing one or two builds with clearly defined roles and all that is a fantastic way of getting people to engage and learn. That was my approach, at least.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. From a game design point of view, look at any game. If first time you enter it, there's not much choice. So you don't have many mechanics to learn. There's not much on there. Think about even if you've ever played, remember like the God of War games or any sort of button masher, you don't learn all the combos on your first playthrough.
Yeah.
So having sort of
absolutely.
one or two options is a really simple way, and then from there players can learn. the class. I like it. It's we were talking about it on your stream the other day because we were saying it's more aimed at team play rather than ranked to an extent. Like obviously they are the meta builds, but you've got things on there which are more designed for team play.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the case, and I think that one thing that the excuse the noise there. One thing that the game we really need to do as a community, rather, and try and push ArenaNet to do is really try and build, like, design the game around specific roles.
Yes.
I think right now we have actually a really good range of roles that players have access to. For instance, you have the bunker specs, the bunker decap specs. You have the, I guess you'd say side noder, but there's a slight differentiation between those two roles because side noders can actually kill.
Yep.
Then you have the team fighters, which is a traditional like Condi Rev or like the Scourge of old, and nowadays Reaper and Core Necro. You have the supports, you have the DPS Roamer, which is Hollow and Renegade right now, and then you have the traditional Roamer, which is, of course, Thief. And I think that with such a wide selection of roles and all of them kind of having their own unique play styles, but all of them apart from Roamer kind of being required, so to speak, in a specific team comp, it's actually really good diversity in terms of roles available. We just need to up that build diversity within those specific roles.
Yeah.
Before we move on, let me just ask you a question regarding to Gods of PvP.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You said it's focused on rapid improvement of players. So as well as the builds you present there, meta builds, how about the guides, especially when you're going to approach the guide to PvP? Like you said, it doesn't really hit home for you. And would it more hit home for you if it was more focused on the relevant meta?
That's a difficult one, because creating something like a video or a guide for a specific meta is actually incredibly challenging to do because there's actually so many different ways that you can play. Consider the current meta, right? You obviously have the rank 55 play style, which is very much kill orientated, rush around the map, and gain points through kills. And I think that's probably the optimal way to play Conquest. But it's also very high risk and high reward compared with, say, French Worm strategy, which is a little bit slower and they're still aggressive. At the same time, they're able to defend and hold the nodes that they have significantly more easily. So I don't think creating a guide for a specific meta is necessarily all that easy to do. It's very much players' interpretations and coming up with ideas based on the current balance that's available and the current just the current play styles of the top players. That's really the case. And then if you consider ranked as well, there's no way that you can possibly teach how to deal with ranked, aside from saying play safe the entire time. But aside from that, yeah, good luck with that one.
Maybe a quick build guide would.
Yeah, well, this is something I'm working on as well, but it's still very early planning stages. A 2-minute quick guide for each of the builds I have on there, but this stuff takes a lot of time.
Nice. Yeah, I completely feel you.
Yeah.
There's one topic which you've wanted to talk about today, and it is your character name, Mr. PMA Angeels.
Ah, yes. Positive mental attitude. It's. For those of you who've watched my stream, of course, there are a lot of people who actually have significant preconceptions of me as a person because on my stream they associate me with like getting angry and shouting and slamming my desk and all that sort of thing. But genuinely, I do try and keep a positive mental attitude when playing PvP and just in life in general. I think it's super important to kind of engage with that, because otherwise you don't perform well. That is the harsh reality. When you're tilted, when you're mad or whatever, you don't perform well, and that's pretty brutal to your confidence, to your performance, and well, also to your rating.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of a downward spiral which a lot of players get caught into, where they will they'll keep playing after a loss and a loss and a loss and a loss. And
yeah, tilt queuing, yeah.
Tilt queuing.
I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah, true.
I've been on it today.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's good fun. I think because we lost 2 yesterday with you, then you went obviously on your win streak, and then I was like, oh, I'll do some today, and then lost 2, and I'm still in that fluctuation part of where you take a ridiculous. I think I lost 29 on my last thing, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I did follow some of your streams lately, Angels, and I must say, like, they've been really great streams.
No, thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. That genuinely means a lot.
You've been streaming for years, so I mean, I've seen you stream before, and definitely what you described earlier, I must admit, like, I fell into that category of persons. But now I see, like, I mean, I didn't have a personal hate to you or anything, but just like now I like watching you stream because you have this awesome.
I think attitude
is
just
exciting as well. So
I feel like I try really hard nowadays to kind of just let everything go. You know, I think a lot of people get into this really bad like misconception about what PMA or positive mental attitude actually means. It doesn't mean you're positive all the time, because that's impossible. Like that is genuinely impossible in life. And this actually applies to everything in life. So it's not just a PvP podcast today, it's a life advice podcast for everyone listening. But
Perfect.
You know, it's making the best of every single situation. You know, sure, you might have lost that game, and that sucks. You know, I hate losing. I'm an ultra competitive person. It's awful to lose. But at the same time, you know, you try and make the best of that. And after the game is over, you just move on. It's just like, that happened. Let's go. You know, time for another one. And the moment you stop having fun as well, you let go. You just log off. You go take a break. You go out for a walk. Any of those things, and it just helps you so much. I think a lot of people get caught in this cycle of, you know, I need to queue. I need to do this. You know, I'm not improving, or like blaming their teammates because, you know, ultimately they feel bad about themselves and they deflect that. And as a consequence, your own ability and your own ability to improve, it is just completely eliminated. And it's no joke when I say people need to be more PMA. It's very true. It's very true. You should all try and take that on.
I would add, actually, their knowledge is power in that sense. Like, I've noticed that I've gotten more PMA or less pissed off since I really like gained a lot of knowledge in the game, and just I can just see what's going on. So it's
you feel that as you get better at the game, you're a bit more relaxed and you don't get as pissed off or as tilted.
Yeah, I mean, like,
okay,
that's it.
Of course, I get tilted in my brain. No, tilted. I make comedy nowadays out of players that are like just trolling around.
Yeah, of course.
The 1v5 heroes amongst the community.
Yeah.
But still, like the more knowledge you have, the better you can rotate. Like, there will be so many games where I'll just rotate into a 3v1, like, especially as a thief, because I want to get the momentum going. Because I see my guys are not going to do well in a equal matchup, so I'm going to have to push that. And knowledge is power in that sense, I think. And I don't get pissed off at it. I just try and make the best out of the situation. Even if it's a total stomp, I try to go for a 1v1. You know, if I got a lot going on in life anyway, so I'm just playing for the fun, you know.
I think Angels, you hit the nail on the head there. It's like, when I stop having fun, stop playing. It's the meme that this it's a dead game, which is it's not got the big, like, a huge competitive scene, say, like, well, League of Legends. So there's no real stakes on the line. at the end of the day, it's we all play for fun among the community. As much as we want to try to take it super seriously, but if you stop having fun, you should just stop, because it's going to get worse. And as you said, tilt queuing, and having that break, either log off, go play something else, or you probably do better over the course of the season by being in a good mood. You log on and you're like, okay, I'm good, I'm ready to go. You win a couple of games, you log off because I'm like, oh, I don't want to risk it. But if you get in that spiral, it's a bad place, and having that break is important.
Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to touch on there actually, relating to kind of the knowledge and how much more relaxed it makes people. I think that's not strictly correlated. I think that if you have the mentality first, then what you'll find is that you pick up knowledge more quickly because you're not blaming your teammates. This is actually very much a mental kind of barrier that a lot of people have to go through. When you're blaming your teammates, what you're saying to yourself is that there was no situation where I did badly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's be real here. That is 100% unlikely. Okay, even top players, aren't going to sit there and think, you know what, I did nothing wrong there. There's always going to be something that you could have done better. You could have done this, and I think that's another kind of mentality that I feel that people should definitely employ. Is what I would refer to as the carry mentality. You need to do whatever it takes to win. And that's not flaming your teammates, to be clear. Okay, that's not flaming your teammates. That's saying, you know what? It's 350 to 400 right now. We're behind. What am I going to do to win this game right now? Yeah, even at 150 to 400, what am I going to do to win this game? Because it's doable. It's absolutely doable in 99% of cases. It's just a matter of what are you going to do about it? And rather than blaming your teammates, don't blame yourself, but critique yourself. Critique your own gameplay. Work out what you could have done better, which would have resulted in a better outcome for your team. Realistically, your team is going to be trash no matter what. That's the harsh reality. But you need to make sure you're not one of the trash members on your team. That's what it comes down to.
Dude, did the putting on of the motor in any way change your mentality?
Putting on the motor changed my mentality.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so. I feel like I've had this mentality for a very long time. I remember watching Syndrana and Houseearth streams years ago, and Sind kind of talking about this, the carry mentality, and I think that has kind of stuck with me in a lot of things in life. What am I going to do better to result in a better outcome? And I don't think my outlook towards the game or anything has changed at all much. I think it's just relaxed. I've just relaxed a bit. There's no need to stress over all this stuff.
It sounds very similar. I don't know if you've heard the term growth mentality before.
Yeah, growth mentality. Yeah.
So everything's a learning opportunity, or the losses are a learning opportunity rather than a personal attack, which it's exactly the way to take it, but unfortunately it's quite a difficult step to get into. Taking that.
I think that it is yes and no. I think that if you're willing to really just question, what could I have done better there? It's a really easy question to ask, and to be honest, answer, because it doesn't hurt your ego, because it's no one else asking you that, right? Ego is very much out-facing, whereas you asking your own you asking yourself, what could I have done better there? Maybe I fed too much. I don't think it's a massive step for someone to not flame, at the very least. And I say that as someone who does flame every now and again. There are certainly cases where I'm just like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Well, to put you in a good light as well, Angels, talking about what you said of highlighting your own mistakes. When we were playing together the other day, and you were streaming, and it was just like, oh, that's my bad. Yep, I fucked up, and it's just calling out like, yeah, acknowledging your mistakes is a big part of that mentality.
Yeah.
So put you back in the good light.
Yeah. But, okay, this is a wider perspective of our culture as a whole, right? For some reason, admitting your own mistakes is seen as a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's the only way that you grow. Failure is where you grow most.
Right. The only way.
So take that opportunity and go with it. I sound like a motivational speaker right now. I really should become one.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
That's there's a new stream opportunity right there. You know.
Oh yeah.
Have it like a fitness class. You know. Have like one of those mics so you can stand at the back.
I'd have to get fit first.
You just imagine what see TED Talk with Angeels. That's what it'll be. But when it comes, I think we've talked a little bit about tilting.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of tips to deal with tilting? Like if you are
dealing with tilt.
Yeah, if you're kind of getting to that moment where you're just like, I'm gonna punch my monitor. I've seen this guy run into 1v5 several times now. Obviously, you said looking at your own mistakes, but what kind? Everyone's blood boils at certain moments in the game. What could we do to kind of calm ourselves down or avoid situations like that?
You need to separate. There needs to be that separation between a game and the next game. If you bring in negative emotions from the last game into your next game, you're never going to do well, straight up. And that applies to anything in life, by the way. If you bring a grudge into your next interaction with someone who's social, like say you have an argument with someone, and then you go and speak to your girlfriend or whatever, you're still going to be you're going to come off across as a bit of a dickhead because you're still pissed off from your last interaction. You need that moment to cool down a bit. Just take a moment, breathe. Okay, even if it just means you go to the toilet or something like that. Splash some water on your face. You need to have that physical separation between the last game if you are tilted.
Right.
And obviously, as like for me at this point, I can just, I'm playing, last game, I lose a game, I'm triggered, I'm tilted, I've flamed everyone in team chat, I've called them all trash and everything. But I take a moment, deep breath, let's go, next one, go next. Because otherwise you're caught up in it. You just need to have that separation is what it comes down to.
I think having that separate, it's kind of a personal thing. Everyone can relate to sort of having a bad day at uni or a bad day at work, bad day at school, whatever it is, and sort of having that moment, which video games is often that release. I know it is for myself. I like.
Absolutely.
But you don't want to come back and go scream at that. Yeah, I think everyone should sort of have their own little separation as such.
Yeah. Find what works for you. Because, okay, like, I'll be real with you guys. This actually ties in a lot with mental health. A lot of, I can speak as someone who was really, really unhappy. And I used to play PvP. I used to stream like 8 hours a day, playing just solo queue ranked.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh,
I was so unhappy. This is when I started streaming, right? I was so unhappy. Okay. And I used to rage. I used to throw my headphones. Like, I broke like 3 sets of headphones from throwing them at my desk.
Suppose content.
Okay? I mean, it wasn't really content. Okay. Like, I'll be honest. I've grown more. Okay. Anyway, I'll get onto that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. But, but ultimately, okay, ever since I realized and worked out how to separate the real life shit I'm going through, okay, which makes me unhappy, and my stream or the PvP, and just have fun with PvP. Okay, the rating, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, the only rating that really matters is your rating at the end of the season, if you care about it then. Okay, right up till then doesn't matter. Okay, no one cares. and also no one cares what rating you're in. So yeah, it doesn't matter. And I think that if you just really try, if you really try and just relax and have a good time with it, you'll actually enjoy the game mode a lot more. No matter the balance, obviously I'm an engineer main, okay?
Hollow abuser.
And-
Sorry,
Ditto.
just correct you there.
Nades abuser, yes, a nades abuser. But right now I'm loving playing the game, okay? I don't even play Hollow. I don't really play Hollow that much. I play my own fun little nade scrapper build, okay? Yeah, is it bit 8? Yes, but it's also got a very high risk of dying to anything that breathes on me. So, there's that fun. There's that excitement. And I get to really have a lot of fun playing the game as a consequence with my friends. And I think if you can reach that stage where you're playing the game because you enjoy it and not because you have nothing else to do, then or as a way of releasing from the shit you have to deal with in real life, you'll have a lot more fun and you'll be happier in general. If you're negative in the thing that you use as an escape, it's not really an escape, is it? Like, real talk.
I think that is. We all play video games for fun, and getting worked up about a digital number on a screen is there's no real point.
I don't know. I think there's. I would be careful. Okay, I think there is a bit of a line there, though. Okay, because I would say that being competitive in a competitive environment is still good and still important.
Yes.
Okay. You try to win. You absolutely try to win. Okay. But after that game is over, you're chill.
Yeah, don't get worked up.
Fine.
Don't focus on a negative thing. That's what I mean by don't get worked over. Yeah. So say I'll give you an example, which I was telling you before. RSQ got placed in plot 1 quite high up, but because it was still volatile, went on a little bit of a loss streak. Yeah. A middle of gold 2, right? Not gold 2, gold 3, sorry. Because I lost, I'm just going to look at it right now. I lost 29, 28, then 21, then 29, then 28. That's 4 losses. Yeah. That could be clawed back quite easily. But it's... If people go, I'm in gold, this is, and you're just like, come on now. As you said, end of the season is what matters.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely. And there's something else I would say. People prefer happier people. No one wants to hang out with someone who's angry and upset. My stream has grown significantly more since I've been more PMA. And obviously a lot of people listening don't stream, but extrapolate from that, right? It means that people would rather watch someone who's happy, and that means people would rather hang out with someone who's happy. So be the happy person, and what you'll find is you get happier because you have a lot more friends, you have more people who want to queue with you, interact with you, and you'll improve as well. And it's all positives. Literally, it's all positives. You grow as a person and as a player by being PMA. That's what it comes
happiness is infectious.
No, it is. That's actually true.
Laughter is infectious.
Yeah, seeing someone smile usually makes someone else start. Unless you're a weirdo like myself who's got a really creepy smile. But
you were going on for Angeels, I think. It takes work to be nice,
It does. It really does.
It takes work to be an asshole. Some people actually prefer to be assholes because it gives them pleasure, but it takes work to be nice. To be. And that's the separation, I think. Where, if you devote yourself completely to the game, right? If that's your one thing, Guild Wars 2 PvP in this case. That should never be the case, right? Unless this is your income or something like this. But there's always more real stuff in life. There's always family. There's always that, There's always real life way beyond the game. And that's I feel that's the detachment everybody should be creating with the game. Some people, I think it hits in a moment where something nudges them in real life that they remember, oh, wait, there's another universe and I'm just taking a break over here,
Yeah.
So it takes work, is what I'm saying, to reach that detachment. if you
It
have
does.
to attached.
It does, and it's not easy. Like, I talk about it as if it's the easiest thing in the world. No, it really isn't. But if you try for it, if you really make the effort for it, you will eventually get there. And what you'll find is that it just happens. Suddenly people will start wanting to hang out with you more, like pretty much instantly. If you're a positive influence around you, then people will want to hang out with you. People will want to they'll want to queue with you. They'll want you'll get better. All of these things are big factors for the level of your own gameplay. And as that happens, it's all good. It's all good.
So I'm going to flip the conversation a little bit and sort of nudge it into. Let's talk about in a team environment. Let's bring it into sort of the PvP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. Like I don't. Yeah. No. I'm just because we've talked like individual. For those who might be on a team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gone into the competitive environment. We all like to win. Okay. Say you're in the monthly. You come up against the team, and we've talked about detachment, but middle of the game. It's getting pretty heated. People are getting sloppy. How do you think people could manage like the attitude in a team environment? Because it's quite difficult. I found.
So what every team needs is they need a leader who brings positive energy. Okay. Now that doesn't necessarily mean the person who created the team or kind of puts the team together or anything like that. It's the person who, says, you know what, guys, we need to change stuff up. We need to do this now. And it could be it could be you, right? You could just turn around and say, hey, it's time that we just chill out, take a moment and regroup. Okay. Regroup our thoughts, regroup our energy. And realistically, I say energy a lot here. Bringing energy into voice comms in a team environment is so important, okay? Because as soon as that happens, people fall in line. As soon as there's a clear leader, people fall in line. Because like negative emotions is chaotic. It's all over the place. No one really knows what's going on, and people are focusing on other people rather than their own gameplay, and that's when things get sloppy. So if you're in that environment and things are starting to get real shaky, someone needs to, ideally you, right? We're going back to that whole thing about the carry mentality. What can you do to make sure your team succeeds? You step up and say, hey, right guys, let's go. We're going to do this. This is going to be our strategy. Okay. And you just overpower everyone with the positive energy. And you just do it with a flick of a switch. And see, immediately your team will be fall in line, and it'll be really good. And you can maybe claw the game back. Sometimes you still lose, but if you can eliminate that negative energy, then you actually have a chance, so to speak.
I think that's perfectly put. To be honest, just having, I think everyone should have a hype man. That's what we need. Or we just let your chat decide to put on a song playlist. Because there was some absolute bangers coming out the other day. I gotta be honest. some Russian dance. I don't know what it was, but there was some definite big meme music, some high energy trance coming out. That's what we all need: a hype man in the team, not actually on the roster, just sat in there, getting everyone hype.
Well, I think that having them on the roster is actually important, because otherwise people are never, you need someone who's actually in that environment and just taking charge. Having a leader who can direct is actually so important. And obviously there are people who are more naturally suited to that. But that's okay. That's absolutely okay. And I think there's something else I would like to touch on in terms of the team environment. It's not taking things personally. At the end of the day, you're teammates, okay? You want to win. And when you're in that game, sometimes people are going to get pissed off. Heck, that's happened to me, okay? People are like, Angeels, you fucked this up. You should have gone far here, whatever, okay, you don't take it personally, right? Because they want to win, and you want to win too. And sure, it might shake your ego a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're still on the team. You're still playing. And if you want to win, sometimes that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to suck it up and say, hey, you know what? I fucked up. And there we go. I mean, those, again, very easy to kind of say, but it's important to get into that mentality of doing like that.
Yeah.
Not taking things personally.
It links back into that growth mentality, doesn't it? And
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a learning opportunity. I think it's just beautifully put. Don't take things personally. Just be happy.
Just be happy, forehead.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of just dodge, but for real life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. Imagine that. Just go to the doctors. I'll just be happy, forehead. Yeah. Yeah. But no, it's simply put.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's. I can't really to think of anything better ways to put that. To be honest, just sort of PMA. Everybody, be,
PMA.
Yeah, be fucking PMA, all right? You know, just we force it upon them, which is going to be difficult in the community.
I know I've harped on about it a fair amount, but I genuinely believe that I've become a happier, better player. As a result of me just relaxing and having more fun with it. Like the rating itself doesn't matter. You know, those of you who watch my streams know I solo queue ranked, okay, at like off-peak hours. And you are never going to realistically climb with that. It's not going to be a good time. But I still have fun with it.
Well,
Me too.
I'll sort of tell a wee story because we're talking about sort of that relaxed thing, and it kind of reminds me of sort of my professional athlete days when I was sort of competing in karate. So I was doing either fighting or doing the kata side of it. And some of the best tournaments best times I've ever fought, are the ones where I'm relaxed and I'm not taking. It sounds really daft. There's a competition in Malta every year,
right?
And it used to be quite fun because you'd see all these other teams like going to bed at like their athletes are like, oh yeah, we're seeing the coaches. They're like, yeah, they've got to be in bed at sort of like 10 o'clock. They'll go earlier, and then they'll see our team in the bar having like a couple of pints and just chilling out. And they'll be like, you're meant to be athletes, and we're like, yeah, but the training's we've done like 12 weeks of training for this competition. We're having a beer before it, and then we're gonna go to bed. And the next day, you relax because you're not going to bed and stressing about it. So sort of being relaxed and taking that pressure off being, I have to win, I have to perform. It does make you perform better, personally.
It does.
That's really bad, isn't it? I'm having a few beers before like an international competition.
You need to... but that's the thing, right? It's about removing those mental barriers.
Yeah.
Removing those mental barriers that stops you from performing and doing well. And just being you. It's important.
Well, there's enough drunk streams going on out there, and just look at the top players. They all still compete.
Yeah. I mean, watch Boyce's stream, for instance. He's chill. He's so chill.
It's scary how chill that guy is and how good he plays. It really annoys me.
You know, and Abindo is the same. You know, Abindo is someone who, you know, a lot of people haven't interacted with him, but he is incredibly chilled out and relaxed, and is by far one of the best players in the game as a consequence. You know, just think about it, right? The top players don't stress. Yeah. They don't stress about all this. They just play and have fun and perform well. And you just need to reach that state yourself.
I like it. Yeah, it's a Boyce's stream just really frustrates me with the amount of memes that go on. He's just like, yeah, I'm eating my noodles, and he's like 1v3ing someone. I'm like, God damn it!
That's a streamer skill right there. You know, being able to play the game, look at chat, and do something else at the same time. You know, I wish I could actually like stream both my monitors so you guys could see like what I was doing on my other monitor. Like sometimes I'm reading Reddit whilst like playing a game, and you know all this.
I'm terrible at multitasking. It was a bit of a meme in our old team where, like, we'd get someone to talk to me or something like that, whatever it is about, and me and Krill will be duo queue, and Krill will be chatting away about the podcast or something like that, and I'll just be like silent because I'll be like, Sneakers, what are you doing? I cannot. If I'm concentrating, it's like one thing.
That's so true.
Yeah.
No, I think actually that raises another interesting point. Being able to, knowing when to focus. You know, keeping sometimes banter is fun and everything, but sometimes you just actually have to keep it out of the game. You got to focus on the game, perform well, and
then step back and drop memes.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to consider that your way of separating the games, then that's fantastic, right? If that works, then that's really good. Yeah. Also, just personal recommendation to everyone listening: duo queue. Where you can. It is a sanity saver.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, because otherwise it's 1v9. At least you're getting a 2v8 at that point.
Yeah, and it's more fun. You share the burden, so to speak.
Yeah. That's true. That's such a statement.
I think one of the other things, because you're saying duo queue, is sort of look out for other people. With that sort of and reaching out with that positive mental attitude, be like, "Hey, dude, you played well," or sort of the GG is often seen as the big B, the big BM.
Ooh, oh no, dude, I'm not a fan of GG
Are you
at
not?
all.
I am.
No, I see GG as BM.
Oh,
like
no.
if the winning team puts GG, then I'm like, oh no, that's not okay, dude. You're not allowed to put that.
I see it is, because if it's an absolute stomp and they do it. Right, but if it's a fairly close game, because I can remember when we played, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. It was you, Teapot, and I can't remember who else was in your team. I mean, it was myself, Crayola, Tricon, and we clawed. I think it was a proper game of throws on your part, but we clawed back the victory. We dropped the GG, and then it was just like we just heard you in the Twitch chat being like, "That is not a GG." But from our point of view, we were like, yes, we're getting a claw, we're clawing it back, we won. And then I think those kind of games it's all right, but yeah, if it's a stomp, it's a big BM.
Yeah, no, that is definitely the way I see it. I don't like a GG from the winning team. The losing team always calls GG, and at that point it's okay. But no, you what you said before is right. Like complimenting people and saying, "Yeah, good job, team," or whatever, is really good. And I know there's also a bit of a meme, right? Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there is a little bit of a trend of it's not a massive trend, of course, but when someone puts "hey" in the team chat at the start of the game,
that's me.
Oh no, we've lost. We've lost.
Me. I'm that guy.
But I genuinely think it's good. I think more people should be like chill, like lads or whatever. Actually, this is something I just completely going off topic here. This is something that just reminded me of all this. I was watching this video a couple of weeks ago about how women deal with voice comms in competitive games. Because obviously women get a lot of harassment in voice comms and like stuff like Overwatch, right?
In every game, really.
One of the things that was talked about was how if a guy turns around and says, "Hey guys," like positively with like affirmation, as like the first thing in the voice comms at the start of a game, then everyone will follow that positive affirmative lead. And I thought that was actually really interesting. So and there actually is very little harassment for females in lobbies where that kind of happens as a consequence. So I think that if we as a community start being a bit more positive and a bit more affirmative, like, "Hey guys, immediately join when we join the game," maybe I'd be interested to see if the toxicity like sometimes drops down a bit.
I'll give you a fun story.
It definitely does. We can speak for our initiative anyway. Like everybody's been, for the very most part, so good, so PMA. It's incredible. like we drop GGs all the time for a good game. No BM.
Yeah, it's no BM intended. But linking back, fun story. When I first because it's only really this year I've kind of come into the game, got into PvP, which I'd class myself as definitely a new player. But it's when I first, because I came back from playing Guild Wars 1 forever. I only just let go of that game. Came in, I was like, I'll finally try this one. After it's been out for God knows how many years. I got placed in like Silver 2, I remember, and I was trying to find. I was looking all over the place for guides and things like that. And the one thing where we're going, oh, it's a meme of being hey. I was actually communicating with, like, hi, who wants to go? And it just, if you're at a low rank, getting a level of communication with your team it's so good. Just going, oh, let's all push far, something like that. It's great at the low level. At high rank, you don't want to be using text chat, too much shit going on. But and then from that point, I climbed from that season. I went down to Silver 1 all the way to Gold 3 in that one season, just from sort of that good mentality of communicating. But
yeah,
first season back, and it just goes to show happiness is contagious.
Yeah, I think just you don't even have to do anything special. Just like, hey guys, you don't even have to communicate after that. I certainly don't. Because I'm obviously streaming when I'm playing. But just direct the flow of like your team. Take control of the situation, and you'll find that people are more positive, more willing to engage.
Just thinking about that, a really good thing, which I've done it every now and then. I don't do it often, but say if you win a team fight and you completely wipe them, just drop a good job, because then it brings up everyone. Like, yeah, damn, we did that.
Yeah, I drop a nice lads. I'm like, nice lads. Yeah.
when you kind of pumped up and then you're like, yeah, we just wiped them. Let's go, and sort of that snowball effect can kick in.
Mm-hmm. You got to be careful though. Too much overexcitement, and they'll overextend far, and then you lose the game.
Yeah. Tease it. Yeah. It'd be like, good job. Don't push far.
Yeah. I'd really love to see like a study done on this though, like whether you can have like a real genuine positive effect on people just by directing the flow at the beginning of a competitive game or whatever.
You can. I mean, unless somebody challenges that in a weird way and is like a dick about it, right? And you get in an argument.
Yeah.
It's
like a question for you, Angel, like, and you Sneaks, I guess. What would be like, or would be the state of the game, the PvP specifically? Does that affect the attitude of players and the?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When a new balance patch comes out, people are way more positive, and people play more. And obviously, as no changes have happened for a while, I don't really include the patch on Tuesday as being significant changes. Players grow tired and weary and tilt more and all that, and grow disinterested, and that's when you really start to see more toxicity come through. There's definitely a correlation between games companies putting out content or updates or whatever, and players looking to create their own content with drama. And unfortunately, it's an inverse correlation. So it goes up the longer there's been since an update. And right now, that's been quite a while. And right now, we're seeing a lot of toxicity and negativity, I think. Which is why it's important that we, each person kind of tries and makes an effort not to be. Even if it's annoying.
I think it comes from a place of passion, though, sometimes, because...
Oh yeah, of course.
We all love the game. We all love PvP as much as we all love to bash on PvP. But we are the adopted child of Guild Wars 2.
Oh no, that's World v World, buddy. That's World v World. That's the adopted child.
But
PvP is just the neglected child.
Yeah.
Although, ironically, not as neglected as raids. So, it's Actually, to be honest, PvP gets it pretty good in terms of game
I
modes.
think-
It's probably the second most updated game mode.
I think it's because or I'd even say World v World is repeatable to an extent, but PvP is the ultimate go back and play thing.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you can only do story once, and then what do you do? But that seems to get the most content. Big oof.
PvP has infinite replayability,
That's
which is fantastic. It's why I play PvP.
Yeah, that's why I like it. Every match is different. As much as we love to like complain, it is every match is different. You're not going to come up against the exact same encounters over and over again.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was like the old system with the rank was like some way to climb rank slowly?
What you mean the original ranked system?
Yeah, something in like,
Oh no, I don't think that's good. I don't think it's good.
I think
it's better to have a competitive system with the rating.
I like rating. It's a weird spot. I think matchmaking is the biggest issue, which I'd love to talk about in depth more, which we probably will be doing soon. But it's just in a weird spot. We just don't get a lot of love for sort of other than living story, which is unfortunate. If you're a casual player who plays for the story, this game is the bee's knees. But I don't know, just what we've talked about, it would bring the sort of the mood up with more balance patches, just simple enough, just little hot fixes. Then you're like, oh sweet, this has been changed. Nade abusers, like they're no longer. They're no longer just ruling the arena. Although, what were your thoughts on the recent patch update? Obviously, you were talking about saying, "Oh, they're not." Everyone was hyped, and you were trying to set expectations every day in your chat.
Oh man, unfortunately, the community does this to themselves, right? They get excited over nothing. I knew exactly the scope of the patch.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I'm a streamer, I'm an ArenaLabs partner, I've got close ties to a lot of the devs, so it makes a difference. I get a little bit of more insight than most people would. And I think that's kind of why my role of the community, I feel, is to be realistic, with people and say, hey, you know what, actually, don't get too excited. It's probably going to be about 7 changes. And I think it was actually dead on 7 changes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it's.
I was correct on that one, but at the same time, it's a good patch.
Yeah.
It fixes issues. It just doesn't go far enough.
It's just needs to be more regular. That's simply it.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that CMC is clearly working on the new elite specs. He's clearly working on this stuff. He's being pulled off by the systems team to work on other stuff, and that's unfortunate. But there is a silver lining in this. It means that when the new elite specs come out, they're going to be a bit more balanced, and we're not going to have necessarily a repeat of Path of Fire where you have a 6-second cooldown on full counter that one-shots people. So, I would consider that a bonus, even if in the short term it kind of sucks. Because I think realistically, we're all excited about the expansion.
Oh, dude, I'm so hyped. Kanto was my favorite back in Euros one. I'm gonna lose my shit when that comes out, man.
PvE players.
No, I was a PvP player. I was Champ 5 and rank 9 hero. Thank you very much.
That's a good point. Be patient. Be patient. The new expansion is on horizon. Maybe we can expect to see some more balance changes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we will see more balance changes. I wouldn't expect anything too much in the near future. Arena CMC is quite clear about this stuff. When he's got something in the works, he says he's got something in the works. And so unless something is, just don't expect it. And try and enjoy the game as best you can until then. And if you can't enjoy the game, go play something else. Real talk, go play something else. It's not worth, you being upset with all this. It's just not worth it. It for yourself. It's just not worth it.
Speaking of other games to play, do you have when you're tilted, do you have a relaxing game? Because my recommendation for anyone out there is Ori and the Blind Forest. Beautiful.
I don't actually have another game.
Neither.
Yeah, I would recommend Ori and the. Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest. It's a beautiful platform game with incredible artwork. The music's just really chill. It's just so nice. That's kind of what I'm like. I just want to zone out and play some game and just chill.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I think everyone should, like, you know, obviously that's not for everyone, right?
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, seeing Guild Wars 2 as a game that you play for X amount of time until you're tilted, and then you play something else, 100% the way to go.
Among Us,
you know,
that's another one. There you go.
Like, okay, real talk, guys. You know, you say you enjoy working out at the gym or whatever, because like you feel good from working out, you feel good, like, you know, and you enjoy it and all that sort of stuff. You're not gonna do it. You're gonna stop when it starts really hurting.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not gonna stay at the gym all day. Okay. You're gonna go do something else. Maybe you're gonna go home and watch some Netflix and chill out. You know.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2 is the exact same. Okay. As soon as it starts hurting, as soon as you're triggered and pissed off, you get out of there. You get out of the gym. You go home. You watch some Netflix. You play some other game.
Exactly.
Like that's the way you want to look at it.
I can fully relate to that, because when I was like fighting, like I'd be in the gym like training all day, but the way my thing would be, I wouldn't be doing something for long. So even like my strength and conditioning, that's what, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at most. Then it'd be like yoga, chill out, and I'd literally have rest built in my day. And I remember, because I was in the army doing all this, and I used to have like my boss turn up at the block door, and he'd be like, "What are you doing? Why are you just sitting in here watching telly?" And I'd be like, "Just rest there." And it's like they had no counter argument, because they're like, "What have you done?" And I've done this, and it was yes, it was a cop out of work, but having that break is super important, because you can't do doing 8 hours of solo queue. I don't know how you would ever do that, man. That's
I mean, there's a reason. Okay, there's a reason that it's national law that, you know, workers have breaks, because, you know, you need to take a break.
Exactly.
You know, it's just, I mean, I know that sounds really weird, but it's true. And the same applies to PvP.
Like sometimes it's even enough to take a small break and come back. Like a couple games, take a small break and then come back. I do that all the time.
Well, even,
you know, sometimes what I do is I just get up, stretch my legs, walk around take a 5-minute walk or whatever, and I'm fresh. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, I think a healthy thing is if you are getting super tilted every time you log onto the game. Cause I do know quite a few players who do that. Look at Sind, for example. He had a few weeks and went and played WoW. Like we had.
I thought you were going to go in another direction there, because we covered that, like going to another game.
Yeah,
like I think Synth actually does a really good thing where he knows, this is knowledge again, right? Like what works and what doesn't, and he just switches to them according to the meta, and he can still play. I think a lot of people are stuck in some builds, let's say, if they only play one thing, and the meta changes a bit, and it suddenly like counters a lot of the stuff going around, just counters their stuff immensely, and they don't know how to play anything else. Slowly adaptive.
Yeah, there's a couple of the one-trick ponies. I'm trying to get out of that habit, even though I think my class will, like a thief, will never ever not be in the meta, unfortunately. But it's Angeels is quite lucky that his class is in the meta right now. But I know you have played NG forever, even when it wasn't or anything like that. Looking at Blam, he's Weaver. That's never been in there, but it's. Having that mentality is important. It kind of stops the tilt if you take that.
Yeah.
But I think I just went on a rant there, and I didn't know where I was going with that. It happens so much. It's because I'm walking around like PvP arena at the moment, just walking, and I can't multitask. That's the problem.
Yeah.
See, so you get distracted.
Well, actually, I have a question I want to ask.
Yeah.
Like the biggest PvP tournament, a community held tournament that happened was the Modem, and you were a big part of that. So,
yeah,
can you share a little bit of that experience?
Oh, it was a really good experience, honestly. I would say actually a really, really good, fun experience, and I'm really glad I did it overall. The thing that kind of was really good was like organizing it with friends, right? Obviously Teapot and Roy, good friends of mine who I've known for a very long time, and meeting up with Teapot, of course, was a really good highlight. But also just the level of play that kind of came out. We all share this passion for the game, and it was really nice to kind of see it get good exposure and really good gameplay come about from something that I'd kind of been involved in. So yeah, it was really, really just something else. I really hope that with our future tournaments and events and everything, more people get involved, because I think a lot of people who actually participated, the vast majority of them had fun with it. Even though they put in a lot of hours into a meta that wasn't the most fun, I think overall people did enjoy it, and there was a really good community spirit from it. Really good.
I think, community is a huge bit. Everyone got hyped with it. There was a lot of donations. Like Guild members donated a ridiculous amount, and it was nice to see that hype in the community. Because it gets people talking about PvP as well. And the one thing I see every time I go on Twitch, right? If you look at all the streamers on who's at the top, right? Obviously you got Teapot on the top of the show every time. But other than that, it's all PvPers. It's everybody likes watching it at the end of the day.
Yeah, they do.
And
let's be real. Like PvE is like an 8-year-old could probably complete PvE, right?
Well, there's that regular video on Reddit with, I think it's like the 5-year-old doing the Mad King's jumping puzzle, which it's mad. But yeah, it's I just love PvP, but at the same time I hate it. It's a nice love-hate relationship we've all got. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other things we haven't covered now, Corolla.
No.
PMA is the most important thing to have, especially in that competitive environment, as Angeels has definitely covered in extreme detail. So let's we talk about Teapot's tournament as well. I'm going to do a couple of plugs now. Might as well. It's time for that selfish plug moment, Angeels. We'll do the little shout outs. So we've got Teapot's tournaments. I can't remember when that is. There's another PvP tournament.
When is it actually? I don't even
know. Go on Teapot stream, type in !PvP. It'll have that information there. I know that much.
Yeah.
Angeels, where can people find you?
So you can find me on twitch.tv/Angeels, so ANGEELS. I am a PvP streamer, very PMA, usually streaming from like 11 BST onwards. And yeah, you can also find godsPvP.net, buy the game through my referral link, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I just Twitter /AngelsPog. There we go. Brilliant. That's kind of me shouting myself out there.
Yeah, no, it's selfless plugs, that's what you need.
Yeah.
But on top of that, we host our in-house leagues every Sunday, Creole, which is Creola's incredible creation, and the community, a bit of everything.
Well, this podcast, but I'm really interested in the collaboration and the effort that may evolve from this community gathering together, because you yourself, Angeels, are at the top of the party, I guess, putting all of that together, and the way you handle stuff in the admins department regarding Discord, I think, is really nice. You're very responsive, and I'm just really glad we're getting to work for the game together and having this conversation and all of it. So
yeah, I feel that whilst I don't always bring the top tier gameplay to the table or that kind of insight, what I do bring is something quite unique, and that's the mentality side of things. The positive mentality, the carry mentality, and really spreading that, I think, will actually have a really big influence on the community. So I'm really happy that I was able to come on the podcast today and kind of talk about that. It's really nice. So thanks for inviting me, guys.
Thank you for coming on to the show.
Yeah.
But we'll probably try and wrap things up there. We've got a huge guest coming on next week as well.
Whoa, bigger than me?
Unfortunately, yeah, I'd say.
What?
I know. CMC is coming on the show, man.
Wait. You guys got CMC?
Yeah. We got...
Oh my goodness. I already knew he was.
But yeah, we have got CMC.
Just so I built up some hype there, you know?
So what? No, we've got CMC coming on the show. He's willing to talk about everything he can.
So both your questions on the forums.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, Creole. Explain the situation.
No, go ahead.
So we've got. He's agreed to take a couple of community questions. We want to sort of get some community and interaction. That's the idea of it. We're not going to like belt feed him a bunch of questions. What was my favorite one so far? When will NG Rifle 4 not self CC? And I'm like, it's a really specific question about a specific skill. But we're gonna, if there's a hot topic we're gonna want to talk about, and it's really the community's crying out, we're going to try and talk about that. So he's agreed to talk about as much as he can, which would be great.
Yeah. We set up the questions in an attempt to get the community involved as much as we can. Right?
Well, could you ask me? Could you ask him a question for me?
Of course.
Nice.
When is he going to relinquish anime? Like, that's what I want to know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Well, we'll bring up. Is he an anime fan?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a bit disappointing, you know.
I'm gonna remain quiet.
Oh no!
That's a whole different topic. But
now I regret coming on this podcast. To be honest, oh dear, that's.
Well, I regret inviting you. But I'll probably have an in-depth conversation about anime then with CMC, and that's going to be the podcast.
Oh no!
But yeah, thank you for coming on the show, Angeels.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So for those who stayed till the end, thank you for listening. Stay competitive, and we'll see you all in the arena.
I hope they all stay till the end.
Later.
Sharing my PMA propaganda.